Man, trick or treat. I can't believe we are
I
here for a
know.
Friday, another Friday financial wrap up with Michael Zuber. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing well. I mean, it feels like just yesterday we were welcoming in the new year, and now, dude, we're 2 months away from it being, over. Man,
Yeah,
crazy.
it feels like a cup. It feels like it was summer and boom, here we are. Wait. Oh, you got to wait for it. You got to wait for it. Wait
Oh,
for it. I
I like that hat.
found it. I found. Let's get into it. This is for October the 27th, Friday, the 2023. It's some people would call this holiday week, call this Halloween weekend. No tricks or treat. Let's talk about trick or treat. Patrick Bet David, he had a bold prediction on his channel. You talked a little bit about this week. Talk about that.
Yeah. So Patrick Bet David did a very important video earlier in the week, basically telling folks be careful what you wish for. We're both in the real estate game. How many times have you heard a real estate agent or a mortgage broker or frankly a home buyer say, I wish interest rates would fall?
Yep.
Right? There is a talk track out there that if interest rates fall, that inventory will rise and prices will fall. I think that is complete and utter nonsense. If you were going to say rates fall to like 3%, you could see a lot of inventory and maybe that's a problem. I don't think anybody in their right minds think we're going back to 3%. But so as Patrick Bet David was saying, is if rates just go to 6.0, what will happen? A, no supply would come because everybody's still locked in at 3. But the amount of pressure that is building in the housing market because rates are 8, that would immediately unlock, and seemingly everybody would be trying to get theirs before rates and prices went up. So I ask you this: if supply doesn't meaningfully go up, but demand goes up 200%, 150%, 200, I mean, you could really see housing going back to 2020 madness with a 6% mortgage rate. It's wild to think about. So, and then the closing point up with Patrick is that would be horrible. Because again, Patrick Bet David is basically saying the middle class would be destroyed. We would have Venezuela,
Yep.
where some elite 10% own everything and the other 90% will rent and never own anything. Because if we get a 50% jump in property values or 30% jump in property values and wages go up 2%, that math doesn't work.
Right.
So I agree with them. If we had a sun, be careful what you wish for. If rates went to 6% tomorrow for some reason, yeah, I think it'd be catastrophic. I think it'd be catastrophic.
Couldn't agree with you more. And again, being that, we're in the realty business, we do have a brokerage book where we do traditional listings and sales on top of our fixed flip wholesale buy and hold stuff. It's short-term thinking. If you wanted
Yeah.
rates to come down, it's only because you've had a slow couple
Yeah.
of months or whatever, and you hope that, okay, this will pick me up. But that's not the case. Something you've been talking about, which we always finish on and do the work. Let's get into more of the show notes, though. Let's talk about new home sales. What did you see this week?
So new home sales surprise to the upside. This was a number that I felt good about. I called this one. It was higher than expected. It's kind of where my number was at. So we got this one right. But again, people don't understand what's happening below the surface. So below the surface of new home building is a problem brewing. I'll explain it to you. Right now, you have builders like Pulte Homes, thanks to Lance Lambert from Resi Club, telling us that they have gross margins of 29%, which are almost double historical average of 15%. So what folks like Pulte are doing is they're basically saying we're going to use our fat gross margin to do mortgage rate buydowns. I am in a home today from a builder with a 4.99 mortgage rate, and I closed in July. It's because they brought the rate down. And oh, by the way, you have builders now saying, I'm going to take out the small builders because they have the financial flexibility. They have internal mortgage books. Mom and pop builders, they can't do that. They don't have a mortgage business. So we're going to see builders blow out inventory because they remember what happened last year. They remember what happened when rates went up. Buyers backed away. So they're blowing out inventory, hence sales go up, but they're building less. If you look at how little building is going on right now, it's falling off a cliff. So I ask you, if we get to the spring selling season and there are no homes available, pending or new, and we have a recession and we have lower rates, what do we think is going to happen? I mean, it's pretty frightening. We could see shelter inflation pick back up in the summer of next year.
Yeah. Feels like the 80s. Something we've been talking about.
Exactly. So, deja vu.
Deja vu. Here we go. So let's continue. Let's talk about pending home sales. What were the numbers this morning? What did you, or yesterday, this week? What did you see?
I got this one wrong. I like to celebrate when I win, and I'll celebrate when I'm wrong too. So pending home sales, I expect, so the experts said they'd be down -1. I thought they'd be down -3. They were up 1 or 2%. Up. How the hell can pending home sales be up 2% with an 8% mortgage rate? Yep. That just goes to tell you that there is still demand.
Yep.
Now, cancellations are up. That's something else we could talk about. Pending home sales. Redfin's reporting they're back to 16.6%. So just because it's pending doesn't mean it will close. So there's all of that. But what this tells me is people are still shopping for homes. That goes without question. Whether they close or not, doesn't matter. This whole notion that nobody's shopping for homes at 8% is just wildly wrong. And I was wrong also. Yeah, it's just wild. It's wild for me to think about.
It's an interesting time. I know that this was not in our show notes, but we also in this pending homes, but we've also seen a spike in cancellations. And that was something you talked about this week. Just maybe comment, just a brief comment on that.
No, I think cancellations are something to watch. Last time this year, they spiked to 16.6. They just spiked most recently to 16.1. That's significant. Average is 8, 9, 10%. So it's up meaningfully from the average. Yep. But yeah, we have to watch this. I've talked to many real estate brokers and mortgage brokers, frankly, and cancellations are up. Because again, you got to remember the humans are, when you study them for 30 years like I do, they're really predictable. So why is cancellations up today? Very simple. Mom and dad have been shopping for a home for a year. Mom and dad have been outbid. Mom and dad are still interested. Mom and dad still want to do it. They just keep writing offers because that's what you do when you get outbid. You write another offer. Mom and dad aren't doing the work anymore. But mom and dad just got a yes answer. So they celebrate. Yay, we're so excited. Yay, we're in escrow. Yay. Then they go back to the mortgage broker and they run their credit again or get a new quote. And they're like, shit, the payments, what?
Right.
Honey, we're going to rent. We ain't getting, we'll try again later. So human condition is pretty simple. So that's what's happening. That's why cancellations are up.
Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. So let's talk about higher for longer. It's something you've had this mantra for a long time. You've been saying this 12 months plus.
Oh, easy. Yeah. Plus.
Talk about it.
Well, this is another thing that I was really happy and quite frankly surprised because I think Patrick Bet-David's amazing, but he and I don't agree on the economy all the time, right? We see the economy very different. But he's basically saying we've got to keep rates higher for longer through into 2025. We need time. We need time for this machine to just get used to higher rates. And if we just keep doing this, it's not going to be good. So I keep crossing my fingers, hoping, praying that Powell keeps rates where they are until 2025. Yeah, that's my hope.
Yeah. So longer, higher for longer. Also, too, and I just want to say that, I think if anybody's been paying attention for the last, let's call it 20 years, 25 years, traditionally, we've seen the Fed bounce around. They went up, they went back down. They went up, they went down. And there was a lot of this kind of back and forth, up and down. And so this is a rare time where, like, again, for the overall health of the country, for housing, now the overall economy, higher for longer is better for everyone in the long game, correct?
Yeah. I mean, if you take, if you don't look at the next 6 months, it is absolutely the right answer for us long-term. Absolutely.
Okay. Interesting. Let's conclude on, and we always finish on opportunity, but the next note is the Fed meeting next week.
Yeah, the
What do you
Fed meets
see? What do you
again.
expect? Your thoughts?
Uh, there's again when the Fed meets, there's really three things we talk about. There's the rate increase, which I think is again they're not going to raise. That's my opinion. So but they're also not going to cut. So let's get that clear as well. So, yeah, the Fed's not going to raise, but what are they going to say? I'm data dependent. We're holding out. Blah blah blah. Or are they going to say something like, "We're starting to see the economy weaken," which is pretty interesting. Not in our show notes, but I also forgot to talk about GDP. We
Yeah.
got the GDP number yesterday on Thursday,
Yep.
4.9%. That's a barn burner, right? The U.S. growing at almost 5%. That's
Yep.
crazy, right? So I do think there's underlying signs that the economy is slowing down. I think they see that. So will they talk about it? Or will they continue to be the big bad wolf and say, wow, we're data dependent. Boy, wasn't that GDP number strong? We may have to go higher. So what are they going to be doing? Is it going to be a pause in a hawkish press conference? And I think it will be. I think Powell wants to be the hawk until he beats this thing. I
Sure.
don't think Powell wants to declare victory. I think if he declares victory, the market rips, and he doesn't want that. But we're going to have to watch. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. So much going on. We're going into an election year next year.
Yeah.
Lots going on. I mean, now more than ever, really, understanding, keeping an eye out on the economy, the news, the shifts, all of that. Let's talk about opportunity, the one real at a time community. What are your thoughts? I know that we always see opportunity in all these changes. What do you see?
I think Redfin had the best quote on this week. I think it was on Tuesday. We talked about it. And that is basically the buyer has all the power, investor or homeowner. But what does that mean to me?
Sure.
That means you need to be writing great offers. We are only doing great deals. So I think there are 5 ways a home buyer or an investor could play with the different levers to get a great deal. There's obviously price, but there's more. There's terms. There's also mortgage rate buydowns, closing cost credits. How about getting the seller to pay for the repairs in escrow? Right? There are all of these things that you could do. So make sure you understand all the levers. Make sure you're working with a real estate professional like Ty if you want to structure a deal. Make sure you're working with your mortgage broker to make sure you're getting the mortgage product that fits your needs. And don't be afraid to write an aggressive offer. Like here's what I'm asking for in my first offers today. 30% off list price, 3% closing cost credit. I will ask for repairs if the inspection report asks for it. I'm going to get a rate buy down. Right? These are all the things. And if they have equity, I'll ask them to take on a small second so I can get a better blended interest rate. I'm doing nothing special, but you have to understand all the different levers you can pull today. And if you're a buyer, everybody's got 8% mortgage rate. So it's a cost of capital for everyone. So it's the best time to create great deals. And, I'm excited for what's coming.
I couldn't agree with you more, folks. So much opportunity. And not only that, but important to be in the right circles with people that are doing the work, people that are actually doing the business, also people that have an idea where this market's going. And so, Michael, I know you still have some tickets for the February event. Is that correct?
Yeah, 97 tickets as of this morning. Only 97 left.
97 left. It will sell out. We've said this. It's going to sell out in the next couple of weeks, several weeks. If you have any interest to go, I know they're being sold on Eventbrite, but they also sell them at the onerentalatatime.com website, correct?
Yep. You can get a link there as well. Yep.
Got it. And then in the show notes, by the way, on YouTube, there'll be a link there as well.
Yep, absolutely.
There we go. Folks, subscribe. Michael, thank you for all that you do. Have a great weekend.
Take care.